Hi everyone, I hope I'm audible and visible to all of you. Could you guys give me a quick yes if you can see and hear me clearly? Awesome. So let me just. So today, what I'm going to talk to you about is this new course that I've designed for you, which is called the Tokenization Expert Program. So I'm going to walk you through the entire course, explain to you how the courseware and the books are structured, how the examination is also structured. So I'm going to be sharing my screen with you. Just give me a second. I hope my screen is visible to all of you. Give me a quick yes if you can see my screen. And of course, I'll be in one corner, but on the screen, you should be able to see the TE image and the logo. Perfect. Let me start. So, welcome to this course, and it's called the Tokenization Expert Program. And the basic objective is to help you to build your career in the multi-trillion dollar asset tokenization and decentralized finance sector. So I know over the last few years, many people have asked me to develop this kind of a course. So the way I've built it is that there is no fee to learn. So the course fee, as you can see, is zero. But if you want to give an exam and get certified, then there is a $20 fee, or in rupees, it would be about 1700 rupees. Now, here's how the course is going to progress. So, the first thing that you need to do is you need to follow a WhatsApp channel for the regular course updates and quizzes. Now, I'll explain to you why I went with this channel approach. So, I run a lot of WhatsApp groups, but many people keep telling me that there are sometimes, these scammers who are trying to reach out to them through the group and trying to fool them into giving them some money. So WhatsApp has come out with this new concept called channels where nobody can really see you. So even though you're following a particular channel, you are participating in it, but nobody else can see your numbers. So to keep that absolutely private, you can join up this channel. That's where I'll be putting daily updates on what you should be studying, or whenever we have live sessions, or I regularly put up quizzes there. All of that will be available in the WhatsApp channel. So what I'm going to do is, firstly, I'm going to share the URL with you for the course page. So all these links that I'm talking about, they are all on that page. I've put the link with you. Keshav, if you can just copy paste it on the other social media platform so everyone gets that link. So here you'll join the channel. Next, you need to download and read the tokenization playbook. So let me just show you. You should be able to see the tokenization playbook on your screen. So this is the updated February edition. As and when it gets updated, the same URL will give you the latest version. It's 325 plus pages. And this is going to be your primary courseware for this course. So I'm just briefly walking you through the table of contents. So I hope all of you are able to see that clearly. So it starts off with an interesting concept of money, past, present, and future. Then it goes into understanding blockchain. So if you want to become a tokenization expert, naturally a little bit of the technological concepts of blockchain also needs to be clear. So that's where this chapter comes in. So it starts off with why blockchains are internets of value. What if blockchain networks for countries? Then we go a little deeper into blockchain addresses, keys, and wallets. Then we go into atomic exchange transaction. Now, this is probably one of the most important topics because the reason that tokenization uses blockchain technology is because of this. So, when we look at the conventional world today, there is a concept called manual reconciliation. Like when a transaction doesn't fully go through. So, let's say you are sending money to someone in another country and the money is gone from your account, but it hasn't reached them. And it could be stuck in multiple places. And that is why you have to then complain to the bank and then they do a reconciliation, figure out where your money is, and complete the transaction. Now, what makes blockchains unique is this ability to do atomic exchange transactions, which means either the transaction goes through completely or it totally fails. It's not like your money will go out and not reach the destination. So either it completes a transaction or totally fails. So that's what we talk about it. I've made a video also which will help you to understand that in more detail. Then a little basics of smart contracts. Obviously, as a tokenization expert, you don't need to become a developer, but you need to understand basically what smart contracts are. Then we take a deep dive into decentralized finance. There are more than 30 different types of DeFi protocols which you should be aware of. So I've briefly covered all of them so that you have a clear picture about all those protocols. Then we'll go a little bit into how the hybrid finance blockchain works, because that's specifically made only for tokenization of real world assets. Then we go into understanding tokenization. So I've created a basic equation to help you understand what it means, what are the stages of it. Then we look at some of the interesting projects around tokenization. Then we will look at a blockchain selection checklist. Like if you are choosing which blockchain to use for tokenization, what are the factors that you should consider? Then we look at what a tokenization expert does. Then we move into chapter 3, which talks about blockchain tokens. There are again about 15 different kinds of tokens. Like you may have heard about cryptocurrencies or NFTs. Well, that's just two. There are over 15 such categories, which we'll talk about. Then we take a deep dive into token metrics. So, volume metrics, market capitalization, total value locked, lots and lots of such metrics or statistical methods that we can use to value different things in the blockchain ecosystem. Then we move on to a very interesting concept called token economics, which we divided into token ecosystem, the parameters, different kind of models, distribution methods, and white papers. So after these 4 chapters, your basics would be in place, and then we move one by one into actual tokenization use case. And the way it's designed is for every use case, I've broken it down into 3 parts. So first we look at the benefits, then we look at the stages about how to tokenize it, and then we look at a practical checklist that you can use to actually carry out a tokenization project. Whatever questions you have, just keep putting them in the comments, and once I'm done, I'll answer those for you. So we'll start with tokenizing art, then we will move on to carbon credits, then we will go into book copyright. So we'll talk about copyright licenses for books, then for music, movies, software. Then we move on to another very interesting use case, which is tokenization of diamonds. Then we do private equity, which includes startup shares, leverage buyouts, and so many other concepts that come under private equity. Then we move into rare collectibles, which could be anything from memorabilia to postage stamp, currency notes. How do we really tokenize those? Then we move into real estate, agricultural, residential, commercial, land, all of that. We move into structured financial products, tax deeds, and finally we move into tokenization of whiskey casks. So these are all the different kinds of concepts that we are going to cover. Let me go back to my main screen. Okay. Now, after you've read the tokenization playbook, the next thing that we're going to move on to is a series of videos. So I do a lot of regular live sessions, which then get recorded onto my YouTube channel, and you could have a look at all of them. That's the third one, which is tokenization related videos. So this is what it's going to look like. So if there are new videos that come in, of course, they'll also be put up for you, and you'll be able to see them very clearly as and when those videos come up. So as of right now, there are 10 plus videos which are available, and one by one you can go through all of them. That'll help you to increase your knowledge. Then we move on to the analyzing of tokenization projects. So for this, I've selected some projects that I want you to understand in depth, so that tomorrow when you have a client which needs something tokenized, or you're working on your own project for tokenization, you should know what are the other projects out there, how they are doing it, what are the mistakes they're making, what is it that they're doing well. Then you will be able to actually learn from their experiences also. So here, this is the spreadsheet for that. And from time to time, it will keep increasing. As of right now, there are 21 projects. So as you can see here, for each of these projects, you have the name here, you have a brief description, and then you have the website. So you can click on that and visit their page. So I would want you to analyze and understand these, as of right now 21, and slowly as they increase, go through all of them and understand exactly how they're doing it. There's a lot of learning that can be done from these projects. Having done that, let us, yeah. Then you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. I put the link here so that whenever we do our regular live sessions, I usually try to keep these sessions every Friday at 3 p.m. India time. So you can very easily attend them, or you can see the recording later. Then you can join the LinkedIn group that's been created. So we have an official LinkedIn group. There are about 17,000 blockchain professionals who are a part of this group. So I would strongly recommend that you should also be a part of that. And finally, if after learning everything you want to give the exam and get certified, then like I said, there's a $20, or if you're in India, a 1700 rupee exam fee. And then there's a form here which you have to just fill up before you take the exam. Now let me tell you what the exam looks like. Now this examination has 50 questions and you get 1 hour or 60 minutes to crack it. You have to score a minimum of 60% to pass the examination. I'll show you what that also looks like. Just give me a few minutes for that. The skills that are going to be tested. So in this exam, the questions are going to be broken down into 6 categories. The first is understanding blockchain, which is a little bit of the tech issues which I already discussed with you. The second is on decentralized finance, those 30 plus types of DeFi protocols that are there. The third is blockchain token types and their metrics. The fourth is token economics. The fifth is tokenization use cases, the art, carbon credits, copyright licenses that we spoke about, all those 15, 16 of them. And finally, the tokenization projects. So those 21 plus projects that you are going to be studying. So the questions come from across these. And there's also a sample paper which has been created. So you can just take that before you take the final examination. You can just get a rough idea about how the whole thing works. The links are already posted. Okay, someone says the contents are blurry. I hope it's clearer now, Sachin, or is it still a little blurred? Okay, I think it must be clear. Let me show you what the login would look like. Now, suppose you want to give the examination. In that case, you would then pay up the fee and then you would log in and you would enter here. The first thing you'll notice is some loyalty points that you get. So the moment you create your account, you get 100 points for free. And then every time you do a certification, you get more points, which can be used to do other certifications, but that's something for later. You'll be able to see details of this course that you're doing and all the learning material that we spoke about. You'll be able to see that here. Like I told you, there's also sample questions that you'll be able to see. All of that is available to you here. And then you'll be able to take the final exam. Now, once you've taken the exam, you'll automatically see 2 buttons. One is to download your certificate and the other is to download your transcript. So this is what your certificate looks like. So as soon as you finish and you successfully take the exam with at least 60%, your certificate you can immediately download. So it has your name, it has the score that you've got, it has a certificate number and date, and there's a URL here where anybody, so suppose you're applying for a job or you want to share it with a client, they can go online and verify that this certificate is genuine. And many people, especially when they're going for future studies, they also need a transcript. So that's also readily available. You can immediately download that. So you get a transcript of marks, which again very clearly mentions your name, the course, the score you got. And in the transcript, it mentions all the skills that you have been tested on. So like I told you, this exam is based on the 6 skills. So you will be able to see all that details here. And this again, transcript number and everything is available to you. So all of this is simple. Okay. Like I said, if you have any questions, keep putting them there. I hope it's all clearly visible. Okay, now let me just proceed a little bit. Now, who is this program for? So I would say there are multiple categories of people who will find this useful. The first would be asset owners. So suppose you own, say, real estate and you want to tokenize it, or you own an art collection, or let's say you own a lot of carbon credits, or maybe you're an author or a publisher who owns copyright licenses of a lot of books, or you're a movie maker who owns copyright of movies or music. So if you are an asset owner, an asset which is good for tokenization, then this course is definitely designed for you. The second is designed for is blockchain architects and developers. So as a blockchain architect or developer, you obviously understand the tech. Now, once you understand how tokenization works, you can start to offer consulting and work in this particular area. Then there are digital transformation consultants. You may be working with a bank, you may be working with a company which is looking at transforming all its systems and going more digital. Definitely, this program would be for you. If you're an entrepreneur, definitely it's for you. Finance professionals, especially like chartered accountants, they would find this very useful. Government officials and policymakers, and legal professionals. So this course is designed for all of you. Now that doesn't mean that if you don't fit into this, you can't do the course, but ideally it's been designed for these people. If you are a student in one of these areas, definitely you could still try the course. Then I've also explained what is it that a tokenization expert does. So, I mean, I am also a tokenization expert. I don't want to call myself an expert, but I work in tokenization. So, what is it that we usually do for clients? So, the first thing that we do is we develop strategies for tokenizing physical and digital assets on blockchain networks. So, it's not very easy. Whenever we look at a project, there are lots of complications which are there. There's so many kinds of things that have to be thought about. So, step one is we design that strategy. Which is this asset? Is it suitable? What is kind of the legal backing of that particular asset, the ownership? How would all that move? And you can tokenize physical assets like real estate. You can even tokenize something like intangible, like copyright licenses. So anything can be virtually be tokenized. Then we design and implement the tokenization project. So we made the strategy, and then now we actually implement it, create the white papers around it, try to approach the investors, popularize the concept with them, talk to them about the project, get them to actually buy into the project. We also need to ensure compliance with legal and regulatory frameworks. Now, it's very important for you to understand that anything that we do in tokenization involves finance, involves a lot of money. So, naturally, the legal and regulatory framework is critical here. Now, as a tokenization expert, obviously, you're not a legal expert, you're not necessarily a lawyer, but you need to interact with your law firms to make sure every compliance happens. Then we engage with other stakeholders. So that's where you create and market the tokenized asset, create the investment opportunities, whether it's talking to hedge funds, wealth managers, financial investment experts, individual investors, HNIs, ultra HNIs. You have to engage with all of them. We also sometimes need to engage with the exchanges, the digital asset exchanges where tokens are going to be listed. Then we need to constantly analyze the market trends so that we can advise clients on what is a good opportunity and what are the risks in that. So some time ago, a lot of people may be talking about, let's say, tokenization of real estate, but then in certain countries a lot of regulatory pushback came, so that may not be such a good idea in some countries. Now that is the kind of stuff that a tokenization expert needs to be constantly aware of. Then we facilitate the creation, sale, and management of the assets, ensuring transparency and security. Usually, this is where we tie up with the digital exchanges also. And finally, of course, we need to educate businesses and investors on this benefits and the entire process of asset tokenization. Then I mentioned in great detail what all you're going to learn as a part of this course. So all that is mentioned here. I'm not going to repeat that. You can just go through it later. I've created a simple 10-question test for you to gauge your current knowledge also. And of course, there's a little bit information about me as the program designer. So this is kind of what I wanted to talk to you guys about. Now let me answer your questions. Yeah. So I hope the screen was clear to all of you and you were all able to see this clearly. Now, if you have any questions, do feel free to put them here. So step one, what I would recommend to all of you is go to this URL. I've put the URL link here. So you can go there and all this information is available to you. Step one, join the WhatsApp channel so you are updated with what's happening. And you can start studying today. There's no particular date that you need to wait for. You can start your study, just download the tokenization playbook and you can start off. And like I said, I'll be taking sessions regularly. It's usually every Friday at 3 p.m. So you can tune in and whatever questions you have, you can always ask me. And in the meanwhile, uh, Let me take, yeah, Ravi says, would the sessions be recorded? Yes. So Ravi, all my sessions are always streamed across LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and I'm also going to start off with the uh, Instagram sessions. So they're always available. Once the session is done, the recording is always there. So in case you miss it, you can always go back to that. Okay, Keshav says the link is mentioned. I'll give you a couple of minutes. If there are questions, just put them. And next week, I'll also be announcing the launch of the blockchain engineering program, completely revised for 2024. So tune in for that next week. Today, I only wanted to talk about the Tokenization Expert course. And like I said, once you've finished with the studies, then you can optionally take the exam, get certified, and start working in this area. If some of you are already working in the area of tokenization, do definitely get in touch with me. And maybe I could even invite you to speak in some of the sessions that we are going to do for other students of the Tokenization Expert program. So if there are no questions, that's all for now. I'll see you guys next Friday at the same time. Bye bye and have a nice weekend.